Mr. President, members of the Senate, our hypocrisy knows no bound. I will promise you that just about every member in this body that says that they are for giving the woman the right to choose and to give the child no due process will be the same ones that you would drag from this podium with everybody watching if you tried to give a rapist the death penalty. They are so much against capital punishment, but when it comes to an unborn child, they'll take this sword and they'll slice it out of the womb. Slice it out of the womb. And maybe that's too graphic, but that's what we do because we got the power. And we're going to say with tax dollars, we're going to slice it out of the womb and we're going to end the child's life for the sins of the father. But the father who does the rape, who, let me tell you, I am 100%. If you know somebody, I've got $2, and I'll be glad to administer the needle, the electric chair, or whatever else we want to give them. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm for capital punishment for rape. To me, that's the most brutal. To me, that's equal to murder because you just destroy someone's life, their dignity. You've destroyed it. But to try to convince me that by killing that child, somehow you've made that person whole, to me, it's just absurd. I can't understand. It's just so inconsistent. We're so inconsistent in so many areas. I mean, when it comes to the welfare state, I mean, we punish the poor with the welfare state. We get them on dependency, they're on dependency for life, but we think we're doing them a favor. I just can't, I can't fathom it. I don't understand it. This is my 4th year. The reason I'm fighting this battle is because I just like the policy of this state not to be in the business of murdering the innocent. And Senator from Greenville, Senator Fair, says there's been 0 abortions for rape or incest on the state health plan. There hasn't been any. I'm just asking for the general policy of this state. So if there is a child that's conceived out of an act that none of us would justify, although many of us would defend the person that did the act, I'm just asking for a defense for that child. And, you know, I'm going to be stuck up here. We're going to be stuck for hours. You're going to have to invoke cloture because I'm going to filibuster this budget if we're going to kill babies or have the money set aside to kill babies. I'm just telling you now, and it's a battle of wills. It's a battle of wills every year, and this could be my last year here. I mean, I've got opposition, and even when you don't discount opposition, none of us have to take another breath. But if I go to meet my Savior tomorrow, I'm going to tell him I stood down here and tried to protect these children. And I'm not going to try to explain to folks around here how I was compassionate by being willing to end the life of someone who hasn't committed the sin and argue with folks who would defend the guy who did commit the sin. So I'll yield the floor for a question, or if you, I'd just like to move to table the amendment. And also about the amendment, but let me withdraw that for 1 second. About the amendment, all the amendment does is set it back to what the proviso is. So saying that if you don't vote for this amendment, this perfecting amendment, means that the proviso is somewhat changed. It has not. Basically, I know it's very clever, and I know that Senator from Orangeburg and I are probably have each end of the spectrum covered on this issue, but I pray that God changes his heart, and I work on him every day with it, but I'm not as faithful as I should be in that aspect.
For what reason do you rise?
Senator would answer a question.
Senator, yield for question?
Senator, did you
yield.
know that I'd like to speak to the amendment before you table? Did you know that?
Oh, absolutely. I would yield the floor for you to speak, Senator. When you act like you're going to sit down, that's why I was going to move the table, but I would be glad to yield for you to speak.